A very good morning and warm welcome in today's online dialogue on groundwater governance in India, role of government and industry, challenges and way forward. And today our focus state is Odisha. It's a series of online program and it's an initiative to highlight and discuss the need for smart and sustainable groundwater management, be it in industrial, commercial and agriculture sector. And our tech partner for this webinar series is Krishnam Technologies Private Limited. Very warm welcome and very good morning to everyone once again. And today, for this online dialogue, we have different speaker and personalities from the different sectors. Like we have Shri P.K. Mohapatra, Regional Director, Central Groundwater Board, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. We have Krishna Chandramurthy, Chief Engineer and Director, Groundwater, WRD, Odisha. Shri Prasanta K. Mohapatra, Engineer-in-Chief, Odisha Water Supply and Sewerage Board. Shri Vinay Chatraju, Co-Founder, Kritsnam Technologies. Shri Dharmendra Sahu, Managing Director, Globe GIS Solutions. And Shakti Prasad Mohapatra, Director, Audra Associates Private Limited. And Ms. Anupama Madhok, Director and Editor, Water Digest. A very warm welcome to everyone. Now I invite Ms. Anupama Madhok, Director and Editor, Water Digest, for her opening address. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha, and a very good morning to all of you, all the participants who have joined us, or who are watching us live through our social media handles. First of all, I would like to thank all the key panelists who have accepted our request to be a part of this initiative. Just to give a quick background about the initiative, Water Digest had been involved from past 16 years in generating awareness around various issues pertaining to water, talking about water conservation, management of water. We've been working very closely with the policymakers, the industry players, the NGOs, people who are at all level, like schools, colleges, students. So we have done a lot of series as far as water sector management is concerned, whether it is rainwater harvesting, whether it is groundwater management, or it is grey water management. We have, just to give impetus to various ongoing initiative of Government of India, we have also created a series or a campaign around the same topics so that we can also push from our side the agenda of water conservation. So we concluded a series on rainwater harvesting last year when we got associated with Delhi Jal Board, and in this association we have covered all the schools of Delhi, RWAs of all the zones, and we conducted series of training programs on rainwater harvesting. Then we also did on grey water management, and this year we thought of, there is a lot of pressure on the water regulation, the groundwater regulations across states, talking about the NOCs to be taken, a mandatory, notification which came and talks about taking NOCs by industries. So we thought of, generating awareness around groundwater regulations and its management, the kind of governance needed, and that's where we were fortunate to have partners like Crystal Technologies, Vijay. They are the one who are developing a technology, who have developed the technology through which we can gauge the kind of usage, the groundwater usage, the real time usage, and I think more will be told by Vinay ji during the event. And so we in this series we started with Rajasthan, we've covered Chhattisgarh, we've done Maharashtra. Very recently, just 3 days ago, we did a physical event in association with Haryana Water Resources Authority and FIA in Faridabad. And it was also very successful because we saw wonderful and interactive and active participation from the industries there. And with the same hope, now today we are doing the Odisha chapter. And like I said, we have eminent people of the sector belonging to Odisha state who can tell more about their state, their initiative, their problems, their challenges, and the way forward. We have Mr. P.K. Mohapatra. Neha has just introduced the panel. So we would like to start this program by having a keynote address by Mr. Mohapatra, who is Regional Director, Central Groundwater Board, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. But before we start with the address, I would like to give a quick background about the overall water sector, as most of the people who have joined us online And this program specially is for water professionals. So would like to give a quick background about the water sector. We're talking about water security since long. We've been talking about it. Why do we need a water secure nation? What are the key challenges? So we're talking about urbanization, we're talking about industrialization, but all of these things are also putting equal pressure on the water resources as well. We have limited water resources. If we talk about the surface water, we have limited river basins, and they are also either closed or are in the process of getting closed. If we kind of shift our focus to the groundwater resources, there also we do not have a very promising data. We have already done the series and we have heard that what kind of challenges are there as far as groundwater resources is concerned. Our government of India has also released their report on groundwater resources. Most of the blocks, if I can quote one of the reports of 2017 by the assessment done by Central Groundwater Board, where almost 6,700 blocks were assessed, 17.2% of the same were found overexploited. Talking about Odisha specifically, um, we have seen that, the data says, the report says that out of um, out of many states wherein we have found even the concentration of uranium in certain states, say around 12 Indian states, Odisha is one among the state. So not just the quality of water, but the quantity of water is equally important. Talking about various blocks assessed in Odisha, it was found that out of 314 assessment units, the blocks, 2.55% were categorized as semi-critical, 95.54% as safe, and 1.9% as saline categories of assessment units. However, we look forward to better figures and the actual figures from the concerned people who have joined us as the panelists and who are the experts from the segment. Um, Also, there are wonderful initiatives taken by Orissa State. There are wonderful schemes like community harnessing and harvesting rainwater artificially from terrace to aquifer. ATA scheme, I guess that's how we pronounce it. Another ARUA scheme, artificial recharge to underground aquifer scheme, was launched to replenish depleting groundwater level in Odisha state. So now we do have schemes coming up, but at the same time, we have players like industry players who need to make their own efforts and contribute in terms of conserving this resource as far as everyone's contribution is concerned. Now, this particular chapter, as it talks about industries participation and awareness about the NOC, which is required to be taken by them if they are extracting certain amount of water, what kind of water they need to extract, how much they need to extract, what kind of notification is in the is being released, what are their duties, what are their responsibilities, what are the penalties. Let's have a look at all this through the to our wonderful speakers. So, Mohapatra ji, I request you to kindly open the session with your keynote address and also giving us a complete, an overall picture of Odisha industries, the kind of NOC request you have received, how much have been already cleared? If not cleared, what are the challenges? Mr. P.K. Mohapatra ji, over to you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. I request you to kindly unmute yourself.
Now am I audible?
Yes. Please go ahead.
Oh, okay. Esteemed delegates, Mr. Sri K.C. Mahanti sir from Groundwater Development Odisha, Sri Prasant Kumar Mahapatra ji, Engineer in Chief Odisha, Sri Binay Chataru, Krishnan Technology, Sri Dharmendra Sahu, Global GIS, and Shakti Prasad Mahapatra, Director, Odra Associates Private Limited, and other representative from Water Digest. It is an honor or privilege for me to speak about. I will speak mostly about the theme, the role of the groundwater governance in India, role of government and industry, challenges, and way forward. Then I will take up questions if you have any question you like. First, I will speak about the negatives, then we'll come to the positives. As you are aware, groundwater governance in India is a complex issue that requires the participation of multiple stakeholders, including the government, the industry, the civil society, and the people in general. It's a critical resource for the country. Groundwater is providing water for drinking, irrigation, industrial, and other uses. However, overexploitation, contamination, and climate change are threatening the sustainability of groundwater resources. Effective groundwater governance is essential to ensure the long-term availability of this resource and to protect the health and livelihoods of millions of people in India. I will discuss the role of government and industry in groundwater governance, challenges they face, and the way forward. We will also explore the role of Central Groundwater Authority in groundwater governance in India. So, what are the role of government in groundwater governance? Government plays a very crucial role in groundwater governance. It is responsible for formulating policies and regulations to manage and protect the country's groundwater resources. Mainly, government responsibility are groundwater regulation. The government regulates groundwater use through permits, licenses, and other regulatory mechanisms. Central Groundwater Authority, is the primary regulatory body responsible for groundwater management in India, especially in states where the states have not got their own authority. It issues no objection certificates to industries for groundwater use. CGW also regulates groundwater use in critical and overexploited areas where groundwater levels have declined significantly. The government also monitors groundwater levels and quality throughout its network of monitoring wells. The data collected is used to assess the status of groundwater resources and to formulate management strategies. CGW, since CGWB is CGWA and CGWA is CGWE, we can also speak directly that CGWB is responsible for monitoring of groundwater resources in India and prepares an annual report on status of groundwater resources. The groundwater recharge, we put condition in no objection certificate that the industry or project proponent should recharge a certain amount of water to the ground. The government is responsible for promoting groundwater recharge through the construction of artificial recharge structures such as check dams, percolation ponds, recharge well, also rainwater harvesting like rooftop rainwater harvesting to augment groundwater resources. What are the role of industry? We expect industries to play a very important role in groundwater governance in India. The primary responsibilities of industry include water conservation. The industry needs to adopt water conservation measures such as reuse and recycle and state-of-the-art technology to minimize its use of water, especially groundwater. The industry should implement, as I said, water-efficient technologies to reduce its dependence on groundwater resources. Industry should implement suitable groundwater use practices by using efficient water management technology and adopting best management practices. The industry should also promote the use of alternative water use such as recycled water and harvested water. What are challenges the government faces in groundwater governance? First is overexploitation. Groundwater resources in India are overexploited due to unregulated groundwater use by agriculture. Most major industries has not taken NOC. They are outside the purview in the sense that they have not taken no objection certificate from CGWA or from state groundwater authority. The overexploitation has led to declining water levels and deteriorating water quality. Then inadequate monitoring. The government's monitoring system is inadequate with many monitoring wells not functioning properly. This makes it challenging to obtain accurate data on groundwater levels and quality. Then lack of implementation policies and regulation formulated by government are not always implemented effectively. Say, for example, we issue NOC, and for compliance of NOC conditions, we put certain conditions that the NOC who have the person, the applicants of project property need to fulfill, but because of ineffective monitoring by us and lack of resources, personnel, we are not able to monitor them properly. And industry, they should come up self-compliance. They should do self-compliance. They always wait for the government to take harsh measures before they will implement this. So this is not good. Then climate change is exacerbating the situation in our country. This has severe impact on groundwater recharge and availability. So what are the role of CGWA? You know, CGWA was is the apex regulatory body responsible and management of regulation of groundwater resource in the country. It was established in 1995 under the provisions of EPA Act 1986. It operates under Ministry of Jal Shakti and the headquarters in New Delhi. Its main functions include regulation of groundwater use, monitoring of groundwater resources, implementation of policies and regulations, promotion of groundwater recharge, capacity building, research and development, and field of groundwater management and governance. It collaborates with academic institutions, research organizations, and other stakeholders to develop innovative solutions for sustainable groundwater use. CGWA has been playing a crucial role in groundwater governance in India. However, there are several challenges that the organization faces, as I said earlier. Significant challenges is inadequate human resources. We face challenges related to enforcement regulation. We do not have an enforcement squad. The collectors have been designated as authorized officers on behalf of CGWA to enforce the compliance conditions. However, they have their busy collectors are very busy people. They can delegate to others, but they do not do it. So we face problem in implementation. So pictures are though not rosy, India's groundwater governance is still in better shape. How? I will just take you what the measures have been taken by central government for sustainable groundwater management. It is collaborating with states and union territories in this process. Certain important deliverables have been identified that include reduction in groundwater extraction to below 70%, increasing the network of observation wells, installing digital water level recorders for real-time monitoring, periodic monitoring of groundwater quality, aquifer and promoting participatory groundwater management, even periodic groundwater resource assessment. You must have known that we have monetized the extraction of groundwater. Now the groundwater have to pay, the proponents have to pay for before extracting groundwater. This was necessary. We think the less they pay, so they will take less resource, so they would have to pay less money. Then creation of Jal Shakti Ministry in 2019. This is a much needed policy reform that resulted in merger of former Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation with Ministry of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, enabling community participation. The Jal Shakti Abhijan was launched subsequently to transform Jal Shakti into Jal Shakti through asset creation, rainwater harvesting and extensive awareness campaign. Initiative for the effective management and regulation of groundwater, examples being the Atal Bhujal Yojana and National Project on Aquifer Mapping and Management. With the goal of participatory groundwater management, Atal Bhujal Yojana looks to inculcate behavioral changes made possible by incentivization. NAQUIM envisages mapping of subsurface water bearing geological formation to help gather authentic data and enable informed decision making. You know, unless you measure a resources, we cannot manage it. That is where the assessment of groundwater resources and helps. Then region-wise aquifer management plans are being prepared and shared with state government. Dynamic groundwater resourcement was earlier done in 4 years, 5 years, and 3 years. Now it is being done annually. So how did these efforts fare? As I said, though not rosy, we are in a better shape now. Groundwater governance in India is a better shape now. The findings of groundwater assessment 2022 indicate a positive inclination in management of these resources. For example, there has been a reduction in number of overexploited groundwater units and increase in number of safe category units as compared to 2017. An improvement in groundwater condition in 919 units of blocks. A reduction in annual extraction to the tune of 9.53 BCM. Overall, exports saw a declining trend of about 3.25% since 2017. So the government's interventions reflect the spirit of cooperative federalism in managing groundwater. So what are the way ahead? Then the community, the stakeholder will have to manage their groundwater resources better with the help of government agencies and NGOs. In the context of climate change, as uncertainties will increase with connection with groundwater resource, effort must be made to find solutions that are essential for sustainable development. It is important to ensure source sustainability is to provide safe drinking water to all rural households by 2024 under Jal Jeevan Mission. Thus, this is a new beginning and steps must be taken to make India a water surplus nation, thus fulfilling a objective of key UN Sustainable Development Goal, that is clean water and sanitation for all. Thank you very much for this giving me the opportunity for this keynote address. After all of the speakers, you can take up questions and then we'll discuss. Thank you, Anupamaman, and thank you, Nehaji, and thank you, Binay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for setting the tone for this and also telling us a very brief background of the of about groundwater management and the scenario in Odisha. So, of course, there will be questions like how many industries have already applied for NOC, what is the status, and maybe we will take it up in the later part of the program. And as of now, I'll quickly invite Mohapatra ji, who is Engineer in Chief, Odisha Water Supply and Sewerage Board. First of all, sir, welcome to this dialogue, and I would request you to kindly share your views as far as groundwater regulation and the management is concerned in Odisha.
Good morning to all of you, and thank you very much for inviting me. And I would like to tell you, when you contacted me, my first reaction was that I am not an expert in groundwater, and I am not dealing with groundwater. Then I also suggested that people from Water Resources Department may be suitable for this kind of conference. Then again, you came back to me saying that no, people are referring that you have some expertise and you should also speak. Then I said, okay, I will try my best, maybe because of my past background. Maybe some people from the Water Department, they know me. I was also a former faculty in NIT Rourkela. I was teaching groundwater hydrology. And also a few years back when I was in Puri, so we did some extensive groundwater survey and quality monitoring, and leading to a lot of publications in IWA journals. Maybe because of that background, people are referring, they referred my name, but I can tell you very frankly that I am not an expert, not dealing with groundwater governance. However, the study or the work we did in Puri, I would like to highlight something which may be useful for the audience. If that is so, then
Certainly,
okay.
sir. And in fact, if there will be any queries, I also request the participants to share it during the Q&A session, which we'll be doing in a short while. And I do have Neha, who is one of our key colleague and leading the series on groundwater management. So maybe now onwards, she'll take it forward with the interactive session, making it more interactive for the participants.
Thank you
So
very much. Thank you
anyway,
very much.
sir, continue it, please.
Thank you
Continue,
very
sir.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. In fact, in my current role as Engineer in Chief in Odisha Water Supply and Storage Board, I do a lot of work on fecal sludge management, and I am also will be doing a lot of work in grey water management in urban areas. So what we did in Puri, so in fact, I was implementing the Puri Swaraj project. So during that time, we joined force with NIRI Nagpur, National Environmental Engineering Research Institute. The government of India decided that government of Odisha decided that let us do some water quality monitoring because in those days, and in fact now also Puri had a lot of on-site sanitations, and the groundwater of Puri was really amazing, and that was used for providing water supply to the city of Puri. And talking about the aquifer, it's an unconfined aquifer, and the saturated depth of aquifer is around 35 meter, and over it unsaturated depth would be around 5 to 6 meters. And depth water level will be varying depending upon the season. So in the winter season and also just before the monsoon, we took water quality samples of around 50 to 60 wells, bore wells in and around the city, and tested the various water quality parameters. Then we did the GIS and GIS analysis to understand the status of water quality. And we found there are a lot of impacts because of activities on the surface. So groundwater quality is influenced by activities on the surface, such as because of the on-site sanitation, because of solid waste dump sites. So those were influencing the water quality, rather polluting the groundwater. Then we also did a deep diving using clustering analysis and data mining, and we tried to understand what are the processes that could be driving such changes. So because we had two seasons data, so it was very clear from that analysis. And also because we are implementing, sewage works, we are also excavating, taking sand samples. It was all sand. So we found that because of rainfall, that was the major driving force that was also influencing the water depth and also the changes in water quality. Mostly in, let's say, rainy season, the concentration of sodium and potassium and calcium would be reducing. So also chloride and sulfates. And also we found in the summer season, the seawater intrusion, it will be intruding almost 10-15 meters inwards, and that also would be affecting the major water quality parameters. The on-site sanitation, as I mentioned, because of the leaching effect of nitrate and because of the various dump sites, the leachate from those dump sites were also affecting the water quality. And also we did a hydrodynamic analysis using softwares. We did some modeling studies. What would be the safe water withdrawal in the city so that groundwater this intrusion could be minimized? Because the public health engineering organization was, pumping groundwater and supplying to the city. So that was also a challenge. What would be there are battery of wells. So that was also a challenge. It was a challenge to determine what would be the safe quantity. Because because of the drawdown in summer, the safe quantity has to be determined, and in the monsoon also, when the water level rises, we also need to know what would be the safe quantity. So it was possible during using all those modeling techniques and water quality observations, we were able to determine all those parameters to take a decision. And of course, to address those challenges, we are implementing the sewerage project. So to address the sanitation related issues, that was taken care of. On-site sanitation, leachate, and all those things were taken care of by connecting all the households to the sewerage network. And also the solid waste management system of Puri was overhauled, and there are a lot of changes also took place. Presently, of course, because the groundwater quantity is very limited, and because of the expansion of the city, it is expanding, and also because of lot of tourists coming to the city, So we have now migrated to surface water system. In addition to that, a surface water reservoir has been constructed and water treatment plant has also been constructed. So Puri is now you must be knowing, it is the first Indian city in the country, first city of the country which has a continuous water supply, 24/7 water supply, drink from tap quality water. So you can just open the tap and drink water from the tap in Puri city. So from the groundwater, governance point of view, for the protection point of view, lot many steps have been taken by government of Odisha, implementing sewage and solid waste management projects, and of course we did a lot of studies also. So protection of point, even in Puri also, there are two sweet water aquifer zones. Outskirts of the city, the water that was supplied from those zones. So there was also in the High Court. So those zones were also protected from encroachment, because there was a tendency to encroach government land. So in fact, those zones are under the jurisdiction of this H&UD department. So protection measures were also taken. Plantation activity were taken so that sand mining doesn't happen. So many steps were taken. I think this from my side. If somebody has any query or any further information to know, they can, of course, look at our journal articles, or they can, we can discuss. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mahapatra sir, that you have taken out some time and you have shared your experiences and also the case study of Puri in Odisha.
Just one question I will ask Prashant Babu.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Prashant Babu, what percentage of is supplied by surface water, and how much is supplied from groundwater in Puri? Because
presently, yes.
Subhash Das case is there now. So Subhash Das versus government of Odisha in the National Green Tribunal. So
presently, in fact, the water supply is entirely from the surface water.
No, not entirely. Hotels are still dependent on groundwater.
We have of course, that is now not managed by us now, that is managed by WATCO. So WATCO is the right authority to give you that information. But my information is that entire water supply is now being supplied from that surface source. We have a new water treatment plant.
No. Okay, we will discuss later on, sir.
We can collect information from WATCO.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Surely, sir, and thank you once again, Mahapatra sir. Mahapatra sir needs to leave early because he has some earlier commitment also. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And to take it forward, as Mahapatra sir has mentioned, that groundwater department from Odisha, they are doing a lot of work in the groundwater context. So we have Mr. Krishna Chandra Mohanty, Chief Engineer and Director, Groundwater, WRD Odisha. Welcome, sir.
Yes. Good morning.
We just one question, that how can we assess the risk to groundwater from industrial and mining activities in a particular region, taking into account the discharge pressure and pollutant loading? Is there any scientific model available, and is there any other kind of activities or any kind of initiative is taken up by the WRD Odisha in context of groundwater management?
No, first of all, now that is being taken care by the Central Groundwater Authority. Now that has not been taken care by this Odisha Water Resources Department. Once our groundwater regulation and state authority is in force, that is under the review by the law department. Once it is get the assent of the governor, then one state groundwater authority will be formed, and that will have the statutory power to frame all these rules. Okay. So let me first present our activity, whatever the groundwater authority in Odisha Directorate has of late taken up, different assignments and different tasks. So after that, we will discuss on other aspects. Good morning, Dr. Mahapatra. Then Mahapatra ji, then from Krishnam Technology, and Anupama ji, and Neha ji, and all the dignitaries available in the presentation. I'm I think myself to be very lucky that I am a part of this national level presentation done by this Water Digest. So I will present the activity through mode of a PowerPoint presentation for the appraisal of all the dignitaries.
So your screen is not visible now?
Now it's visible?
Yes, sir.
Is it,
Yeah, it's fine.
is it
Please go
visible
ahead.
now? Okay. So from the Odisha state perspective, I'll be presenting whatever the activities the Groundwater Directorate in the state have taken up. Next.
So we are seeing the first slide only, presentation first slide only. It's visible, sir. Kindly make it full screen.
No problem. We will continue. We will continue. Let me, first of all, in India, only the 18% of this world population, they consume, we might be knowing, and Dr. Everybody knows also, they consume about 4% of the water resources of this. As per the World Bank report, Dr. Mahapatra has already cited, India is the largest user of the groundwater resources in the world. So now in India, in urban areas, nearly 80% of the country's drinking water and 2/3 of the irrigation needs are being catered by these groundwater resources. So far as now the rapid urbanization, then a growing economy due to rapid industrialization, the demand of this groundwater has increased by leaps and bounds. So we have to be very careful in using this groundwater and recharge all the stems, because you see something, unless that it is just a water balance, we have to come. We have to recharge, then we have to use, and there should be balance surplus savings or the surplus groundwater. Ministry of Jal Shakti, during the 2022, they have made this Jal Shakti Abhiyan throughout the country, and as a part of that, the Odisha state has also taken care of this scheme of the Odisha. So accordingly, there was a groundwater resource assessment taken up by CGWE, Eastern Region, Bhubaneswar, and Groundwater Authority Directorate, State Government of Odisha. They have taken jointly 2022 assessment, and the findings of the groundwater assessment indicated that there is a positive inclination or positive trend in this storage of the groundwater vis-a-vis its use and extraction. That we mean. You see, it's clearly identified that the total annual groundwater recharge is 7.79 billion cubic meter, and the groundwater extraction is 7.23 billion cubic meter. So there is a net storage of additional, that is a plus trend. So whatever the schemes are taken up by this state government and groundwater directorate, they have shown a positive trend in this regard. So out of there are 314 blocks in Odisha. So out of that, 300 blocks are categorized as safe, because the stage of groundwater extraction is less than 70%. So it is in the normal region, has not entered into any semi-critical or likewise otherwise. Only 8 number of the blocks are categorized as semi-critical blocks. But during 2020, it was 6 number of blocks were categorized as semi-critical. And during the 2 years, only 2 blocks had added up to the category of semi-critical. So we are trying to, in that perspective, so we have to take corrective measures through this rainwater harvesting and whatever check dam, all other whatever is available to minimize, so that further in the consequent years or in the coming years, this will not increase. And 6 blocks in the coastal line, they are identified as saline blocks. But if you see a overall stage of groundwater extraction in Odisha, the overall in 314 is 44.25% in 2022, comparing to 33.65 during 2020. So there is a marginal increase in extraction, but it is well safe below 70%. So it is in the state perspective, it is quite safe. But so far as the individual blocks are assessed, only 8 blocks are identified, which will be also, we think that it will go down because of our rainwater harvesting and other this recharge measures taken up by the government. Then now I will just highlight what is the role of this groundwater in groundwater governance in Odisha perspective. The central government and government of Odisha are working to achieve the goal of sustainable groundwater management. They are the government of India. They are supporting CGWB. They are also taking every active role. We have also neck to neck. We have got meetings individual. Then we are finding they are helping us through coordination, mutual coordination. In the national perspective, they are also extending their hands of support to the state. So for the capacity building of all these things, so they are very cooperative in this regard. So we have participatory approach for groundwater recharge. Government and non-government agencies, most of these groundwater recharge are practiced through harvesting of rainwater, rooftop was that Chhato scheme. Now later on I'll be coming to that. So government of Odisha has launched different schemes for RRHS and construction of groundwater recharge shaft in the existing tanks and ponds. Similarly, other departments in water sectors have also devised different water conservation practices, like soil conservation department. They are building staggered trenches. Then minor irrigation, fisheries, minor irrigation are there doing check dams, then diversion weirs, increase in the groundwater. Then also the water resources department, they are constructing in-stream storage structure ISS. Now that is also taken up by the government in a large scale. During this year also, there will be around 400 to 500 this ISS will be taken up throughout Odisha. So the government of Odisha is quite serious about the storage and increase of the water resources, because the demand is more, supply is limited. There is a limited also, there is a pattern of this rainwater distribution, rainfall, that is also depleted, because previously during the rainy season, for 120 days rainfall was occurred in 4 months, but now it has been just resynchronized to 47 days. So we have to store the same amount in 47 days comparing to what was happening in 120 days. So in that perspective, everybody should be very careful. Now I'll be coming to this comparison of dynamic groundwater resources of Odisha. So it has been shown in the graphical presentation. Groundwater extraction from all the sectors is increasing. You might be seeing increasing trend of stage of groundwater extraction in 2020 is gentle comparison to that of 2017. You might be seeing that that is a sharp curve, that is sharp rising in the previous years, but in 2020 there is a gradual rise in stage of groundwater extraction. So this comparison shows that in spite of more extraction, the extractable groundwater resource has increased gently, possibly due to several groundwater recharge measures adopted by the different departments of the state government. Fisheries, then soil conservation, then agriculture, then water resources. So that has been taken up. Now it is just a pictorial representation of this RRHS taken up in different private buildings. It is also a pictorial representation of this RRHS in government building. This is also in government building. This is that Arua scheme what Anupama ma'am was telling. This is one of the recharge shaft in the tank and pond in Odisha, that is in Dhenkanal district, one of central Odisha. So that is being under Arua scheme. The recharge shaft, artificial recharge shaft are constructed. And this Arua scheme, there is a plan of constructing around 2,400 recharge shaft across the state in the next coming 5 years. There is also a pictorial representation of Arua scheme, recharge shaft in tank and pond. So this is now we'll be coming to the role of the government in groundwater governance in Odisha perspective. So now we are monitoring the quality as well as the groundwater levels through 1,000 monitoring stations, piezometers throughout the Odisha, 1,000 odd, out of which under this National Hydrology Project, 500 numbers for real-time data acquisition is being done, and it is being stored in the central server of the Groundwater Directorate, so that at hands we can know the groundwater level in the real time. Anytime we can assess from the Bhubaneswar itself in the headquarters what is the groundwater level, whether it is rising or it is. Then we will be comparing during 2017 over the years whether a particular well, what is the status in the same date, same period, whether it is depleting, then we can also then through microanalysis, we can take appropriate steps in this regard. Then adding further to this, construction of 500 numbers of new physiometers are also in a way forward, in which installation of digital DWLR will be done and data will be transmitted to the national server at Delhi and also to the state server, so that even in country, anybody can assess anywhere what is the groundwater condition in any part of the country. This is this groundwater monitoring and data recording. This is the same thing, that well. This is the groundwater monitoring data analysis. We are also, so for the implementing of groundwater regulation, now our state is in the active consideration implementing this groundwater authority in the state. And since the government has stressed the need for the pan-India application of groundwater authority, so Odisha state is also in the right direction. Now this groundwater authority and the groundwater rule is being with the law department for the vetting. It has passed through different departments. Once the law department vetted the same, it will be presented to the Honorable Governor of Odisha. Central groundwater authority will be formed through the appropriate constituents, Odisha by the Odisha government, whatever suggestion made by the central government authority regarding the chairperson and the members. Then Odisha Groundwater Regulation Development and Management Act 2012 has also got the approval from the President. As per Section 3.1, Odisha Groundwater Authority will be formed for regulating and management of groundwater in Odisha. In that perspective, CGWA will not take decision in the Odisha perspective once Odisha Groundwater Authority is formed. So they will be free to take any decision of their own, do the needful in this groundwater field. Different groundwater rules have been framed for application, renewal, issuance of NOC for groundwater. Suppose for private building, domestic use, then commercial use, then industrial use, agriculture sectors. But in Odisha, for agriculture sectors and domestic use, there is no restrictions of late. But for industry, there is a proposal for implementing severe these measures, so that there will be a regulative use of this water, and they will be impressed upon to use restricted use of the groundwater resources. Role of what will be then will be discussed about what is the role of industries in groundwater governance. The industries should put minimum efforts to minimize groundwater use by recycling wastewater of industries and reuse. Like you see in these Gulf countries, they are recycling this saline water to make it a sweet water. So similarly, the industries must devise a mechanism through which they can convert their wastewater into fresh water, so that the this load on this groundwater use can be minimized, and we can sustainable groundwater resources and saving of groundwater asset can be ensured. And they should also adopt and implement water conservation practices like harvesting of rainwater. Now in also our groundwater authority rules, it has been proposed that wherever there is a cooperative housing schemes or there is a multi-story frame, it will be mandatory on their part to put up this rainwater harvesting structures. Otherwise, the license cannot be given by this planning authority to them. It will be a part of this groundwater rule in Odisha. It has been proposed by us. Then all-time approach should be look for the alternate water resources to reduce dependency on groundwater. In practicing effluent treatment, there should be a continual practice for effluent treatment before discharging the wastewater to prevent water contamination. Because you see, either this multi-story building apartments, then cooperative farming, that due to the soak pit and septic tanks, this groundwater, there is every likelihood that this groundwater may be contaminated. Similarly, due to the disposal of the industrial waste, the groundwater quality can be affected and contaminated. What is the? I'll just highlight what is the need of the hour, because everybody knows the importance of the water globally. People want to save a drop of water right now. You will have to manage their groundwater resources better with the help of various government agencies and convincing people. Because first of all, unless the people are educated, because of late what happened, people tell that the government is giving water free of cost, water is available, it's the gift of nature, we can use it as per our sweet will. But that is not the issue right now. Since this rain pattern, it has been depleted, rainwater it is depleted, resources depleted, then this distribution also, the time limit is also getting very staggered. So all these issues will be there. So NGOs will have the very important role in convincing people about the importance of water, then water use, all that thing. Then in the context of climate change, as I told earlier, uncertainty is increasing connection with groundwater resources. Efforts must be made to find solutions that are essential for sustainable development. So we have to go for a micro analysis, bit by bit. Then draft Odisha Water Policy 2020, in line with the draft National Water Policy, has also been recommended a shift in uses from the water-intensive crop practice and prioritizing recycling over freshwater for industrial uses. So we have to devise these new agriculture practices. Use where water-intensive crops, we can go for other crops also, cash crop where the water uses will be relatively less. Then this groundwater resource assessment 2022 shows a brighter future for groundwater situations in the Odisha as well as the country, and the initiative taken by various departments and stakeholders in water sectors have begun yielding results. Particularly our state has given emphasized during the Chhata and Arua scheme during the next 5 years. Government has the capacity to just replace 374 crores liter of water. It will be added to the groundwater resources of the Odisha. So that is so we have a very clear vision of the government, and this water resources department is in the right direction in implementing this. So far we have implemented within 3 months. We have implemented 1,500 private building RRHS and 125 government building. And during the next 5 years, it will be implemented 29,500 numbers in private building and 1,925 in government buildings. So my concluding remark will be that the government intervention in enabling a positive impact of the overall groundwater scenario in the Odisha reflects the spirit of cooperative participation in managing this precious resource for the next generation to survive. Means everybody, every citizen of the country, all organizations, maybe government, maybe private, maybe non-government, everybody has the role, because you see, government cannot implement something. Government will be devise a mechanism, rules, all that thing. But all the stakeholders, they should come neck to neck, hand to hand with the government to make the program of the government successful, and it will be beneficial for the mankind. Then I'll be coming to the challenges what we are meeting. There are many challenges for the smoother groundwater governance. Regional Director of CGW had addressed those which need not be reiterated. However, amidst all those challenges, we are in a motto of overcoming the hurdles, achieve the objective of sustainability groundwater resource in future through what I have earlier told, through different measures like this check dams, ISS, then cross bonds, then diversion weirs, all this, then rainwater harvesting structures and recharge shaft.
Thank you so much, Krishna sir. You have shared the details and overall assessment and the role of the government being particularly in the groundwater governance in perspective to Odisha. You have also shared the best efforts and better governance which is done by your organization and by the WRD department for Odisha to take it forward, and also shared some challenges details that you are facing right now, because you have shared your successful details of the implemented projects and successful case studies. So we are getting few questions from the other state also. So sir, my request you to please be with us so that we can take this question with you like during the Q&A session. So as of now, we talked about the overall status and the scenario of Odisha groundwater governance. We talk about the efforts which is being made by the either WRD Department of Odisha or by the Groundwater Board Odisha. And let's move forward. Let's talk about the some kind of solution technology innovations in the groundwater management or in the governance. So for this we have Mr. Vinay Chatraju, who is a co-founder Kritsman Technologies. Kritsman is also a technology partner for this a series of webinar on groundwater governance. So Mr. Vinay Chatraju, you come from a research background from IIT Kanpur and now working on building advanced technologies to help water users become water custodians. So the challenge in the groundwater sector in India or everywhere in the, like we can say, are numerous. How do you think the technology can help users and policy makers both in better groundwater management? Do you think we can achieve data-driven groundwater management in a country like India? Over to you, Vinay.
Thank you, Nehaji, for your kind words. It's really glad to be among the esteemed other panelists with a lot of experience of a few decades all together for everybody who was working on the groundwater space specifically. Okay, so I would like to bring a different perspective to this. Everybody have their own perspective by working more on the ground. Okay, so what we are trying to do it, is how can a technology, so there's a technology has advanced very much, so now we are in a generation of a chat GPT. If you want to ask anything, you just chat it, so and you get the answers. In such kind of an era, so how can we bring these kind of advanced technologies for direct in which can bring value add to the resources like groundwater, which is fundamental for survival of the humanity. So we come with that kind of a background. So brief about us: we started from IIT Kanpur Research and Innovation Center. So we have in-house R&D in the fields of electronics, embedded hydraulics, hydrology, hydrogeology, and data analytics. All together is what we are trying to do it, because we clearly understand that this is a multidisciplinary subject. So most of our previous generations have been into water resources and civil engineering background, but with the multidisciplinary approach, we really felt, in fact, it is the need of the hour where we need to understand the complete evolution of various technologies to come up with the right solutions. So we have been supported by the Government of India through Technology Development Board for the Atal Bhujal Yojana, and a few major recognitions is for the Jal Jeevan Mission Grand Challenge. We have been one of the winners, and Atal Innovation Amrut 2.0 Grand Challenge. We are one of the winners for the Amrut 2.0 Challenge. So what happens, so as everybody knows and everybody sees, so the groundwater is being depleted, and being any non-renewable resource, so it is likely to be depleted with time. So the groundwater depletion, what does it mean for the Indian businesses? So we are not talking only about the MNCs, but we are talking about MSMEs, small, medium, and even the large enterprises. It's a rising business risk for the Indian businesses is what we are heading to. As per the reports, 83% of industries report major risk of inadequate availability of water, and 62% of Indian businesses depend on the groundwater as a source. Okay, and Eurasia Group has reported water as one of the top risks in the for the 2023. Okay, so we are including, which is in line with COVID, war, and a few other major prominent changes we are doing. So water is one of the most predominant activity which has to be considered in terms of business risk, which is where Indian businesses are just getting just getting used to it. How do I assess my risk related to the water? Okay, there has to be a paradigm shift required in the way the businesses look at the water and their water availability. Okay, so it has been a free resource so far, and also it has been a continuous resource so far, so the disruption in the water supply and water availability only has started in the last few years, where we have seen incidences like Chennai, Shimla, Bhopal, so in some of the cases in India, where there is a mass movement of the people has been happening because of the non-availability of the water. People started leaving the places because of there is no water. So because at the end of the day, without the availability of the water, there is no active humanity survival, or so there is no organization, or there is no group or livability without the availability of water. So businesses who actually spend a lot of money, who invest a lot of money into their premises, so there's a few, starting from few lakhs to a few hundreds of crores is what the business owners, the entrepreneurs invest into the business. But if not considered as the water as one of the risk, it is things are getting changed, and it needs a paradigm shift into it. Okay, so trying to correlate with the so similar, so if as an individual, so if we feel that so we are obese, or so we are a little overweight, what is the first step we need to do in the weight loss journey? So if I decide to reduce my weight, what is the first thing I need to do? So if I have to reduce the weight, we definitely have to go to the gym, so bring a better diet plan. But the most important thing, even before everything, is being weight conscious, which means, so we need to start monitoring our weight every day regularly. And, so we need to keep a track of, okay, how am I changing on a day to day? So this is how it happens, so organically you will be able to reduce 20 to 30% of your required targets only when you become more conscious about a specific thing. So currently in India, it's the same scenario. So Indian businesses are not water conscious. So this is the time, so this is the right time, so like our other dear panelists also mentioned a lot about the uncertainty in the water availability because of the rising climate change. So to overcome this, so the businesses have to become more water conscious, which for their own risk, so of course, so we do have water is a future generation, so and all is a one story of it. But second one is, so it's a clear risk for their business. So that's where they need to become more water conscious. So the common question is, okay, so how to become water conscious? So we have come up with a few small simple steps. How can businesses start becoming water conscious? So the very first step become for any business, so this is applicable for a small MSME with investment of up to from 10 lakhs to a large multinational who has $1 billion of investment. The process is the same, so the kind of process, just that the quantum of water utility may be different, but so it's the process is the same. The very first step in the journey towards the water consciousness is know the water footprint from all sources. So commonly what we see is, so we have worked with more than 700 plus businesses in the country, and quite a good number in the Odisha state also. So usually there are three different sources of water any business would require. So the surface water, groundwater, and the purchased tanker water, which is again one of these sources. So we need to understand, so what is the availability of the water, or what is the footprint of water for a specific business from all the sources together. Okay, so it has to be available in a digital format for you, for the people to take more quick actions and decisions regarding their water footprint. And we need to do the internal water budgeting. Okay, so like how we do the budgeting for our finance, so if we have a budget for, let's say, 10 lakhs for this financial year for a specific company, and we do budgeting in terms of, so how much money are we going to spend in the marketing, how much money are we going to spend in the production, how much money are we going to spend in the administration, technology, asset. So we do the budgeting of our finance. Very similarly, we need to do internal water budgeting within our premises for their water usage, starting from different processes. So the usage in the green belt, usage in the domestic purposes like washroom, if there is a canteen, if there is a residences, quarters. So we need to do budgeting for the various processes and the utilities which are available in it. And we should have a continuous reporting and tracking of how much is my water water being supplied to them on a day-to-day basis, available more at a ease of access. What we have seen, some of the consciousness part is partly there in terms of doing it manually. We have seen people install various sensors at multiple places, but so maintain logbooks. Yes, so if we say, do we have data? Yes, we have data. But what is the utility of data? It's very, very negligible, so in terms of utility of water data for a day-to-day decision making. So, and the third and most important step is defining metrics and compare with peers. Okay, so we all talk about, so being water efficient, so being water efficient usage of water resources. Okay, but if I say, is it possible to prepare 1 liter water in less than 1 meter? No, it is not possible, because so we are talking about building 1 liter of water. So it's a packaged drinking water, for example. In the process of efficiency, so how much water does it take to produce 1 liter water? So we need to start defining metrics for the respective business. Okay, like for example, recently SEBI, Security Exchanges Board of India, has defined few metrics in terms of water intensity ratio. What is my water consumption per unit turnover? What is the water consumption per unit production of the respective raw material? What is the water consumption per unit production volume in terms of metric tons, if it is a steel, if it's a produce, or if it is a food process, food anyway. What is the water intensity per unit size if it is a pure commercial, which is purely based on the floor space? Okay, so what is the water consumption per SFT? And if it's a virtual space, so based on the number of employees, so what is the water consumption per unit employee? So we need to define a suitable metrics for the respective business and start comparing this with the peer. So if you are a hospital, please compare. We should compare with the other hospital having same capacity, and so how much water it takes for this hospital, and how much water is being used by that hospital. And then that's how we need to do a competitive comparison on so our water efficiency. And tend to target the so international standards in that specific commercial space. So these are two major active costs which are related to the water, which are usually overlooked. So when in our discussion with more than 700 businesses across India, when we say that what is your cost of water, it comes as so water is free. So but yes, so there's a lot of indirect cost because of so water inefficiency. These costs are also rising, which is also adding to the business risk on the cost for the users. So one is on the pumping, one is on the treatment. So coming to the policy side of it, so we as everyone know that, so Central Groundwater Authority has given the Gazette notification on September 24, 2020 for the national level groundwater policy. So a lot of data and numbers which are used within the policy also can be driven more with a data-driven approach. The moment we have a clear data from the sources, so clear data from the ground, these policies can be more driven, or so more centered towards some more logical data, which is as per the real field conditions, and can really categorize between different geographies. Different states can be further bifurcated. We have seen the national dynamic groundwater assessment, which was released in 2022. So this was done, so currently annually. So what is stopping us in doing it more of a monthly assessment? Can we start capturing data in such a way that so we can even give monthly assessments? Okay, so this is one of our platform, Dhara Live, which is a water consciousness platform, which gives a daily report on total water consumption on WhatsApp, SMS, email, mobile app, and web application. It gives a daily report on how much water is being pumped on for how much time. The reports can be are available in a downloadable format in an Excel sheet for any internal and external reporting. It also sends smart alerts when crossing a specific limit. So this is our core platform through which we help business users. And this is one of our, again, flagship product, Dhara Smart Ultrasonic Flow Meter. It's a plug-and-play device, which is battery operated with 3 to 5 years of life. It's a seamless communication, which has an inbuilt redundancy for dual SIM. So it's once you just plug and play and install the meter, it starts sending the how much water is being passed through this flow meter. It is certified from ISO 4064 from FCRI. It is all weather protected with IP68 certified. It works on ultrasonic transit time principle, which means technically there is no pressure loss inside it. And this device is completely designed, developed, and manufactured in-house. IIT Kanpur, currently produced under Hyderabad. So usually for the groundwater data, so there are two different devices which will be used. So one is the water level piezometer, which is also called the digital water level recorder, and the second one is the digital flow meter. So what we have observed is, so across the country, so the water in the name of water data collection, the piezometer data has become very predominantly familiar and famous. But the digital flow meter, which clearly is not very easily understood by both policymakers and the users and the utility of this. So the digital flow meter is a very important device which monitors how much water is being abstracted and used by us. At the end of the day, so the water levels are the utility, how much water we are actually using is what is of a value for the users and as well as the policymakers on how much is the yield from the respective borewell. So we at Kritsam have been working with more than 700 plus businesses and helping them in their water consciousness journey. And the device, Dhara Smart Ultrasonic Flow Meter, complies with the CGWA tamper-proof flow meter guidelines. And some of the premium customers whom we have been working are Oberoi Hotels, Aditya Birla, Ultratech Cement, Tata Consultancy Services, HUL, Amar Raja Batteries, Castrol, Adani Group. So this is how some of the installations on the field. It's a very simple and easy to deploy device. Just insert the device in at a groundwater abstraction point, and it starts sending the data in a real time, and you can start seeing your data directly in your SMS and the WhatsApp from next day from the date of installation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vinay, that because you have shared a lot of details like how to improve your system, groundwater data collection, and how to improve like technology innovation along with the good groundwater budgeting, because it is very important to place right technology at right place And you have also shared, I hope, because we have a lot of participants from the side of industry, so for industry people especially, how to calculate your daily data in your day-to-day basis, how to improve your water use efficiency. Thank you so much, Mr. Vinay. We are getting few questions for you also, and we'll take it up during the Q&A session. So we talked about the solutions and technologies which is available right now in the market also. And let's move forward to the, I would like to invite Shri Dharmendra Sahu, who is a managing director from Globe GIS Solution. He is doing a lot of work at the ground level and for the lot of project he is handling right now for in the context of groundwater. So welcome Dharmendra Sahu sir. Am I audible, Sahu sir?
Hello.
Yes, sir. So, Sahu sir, welcome once again, welcoming you. And sir, because you have already helped in many projects, gone into how to manage groundwater and also in meeting the compliance requirement from CGWA. So, what are the real challenges you observed in implementing these guidelines on the field? As well as what is your recommendation for both project proponents and policymakers to accelerate to 100% compliance of the guidelines? Over to you, Sahu sir. Am I audible, sir? So we are trying to connect with Sahu sir. So Mr. Vinay, we have a one query. We'll take up with you. Like, what is the capital cost of 1-inch ultrasonic flow meter and operation cost of flow meter mobile application?
So usually the flow meter starts, our price specifically starts from 24,999 is the cost of 1-inch ultrasonic flow meter. And then there is a cost for the platform. And since these are the cloud-based systems, there is a continuous data which is received on the cloud, and then through which the users get access for this. And the running cost, the software cost is approximately 999 rupees per month is an average cost for us.
Another one, because you talk about a lot of technologies and innovations, so there is any other attempt by your company or organization for artificial intelligence and machine learning?
See, the base for any AI/ML models is the data. Okay, so what we are in the process, in fact, so when we started in 2015, so we wanted to directly jump into the AI/ML models, so in the water. That's how we started our journey in 2015. But then we realized that for us to really run this AI models, what we need is we need a large sum of data, which is currently lacking in this water space. This is where so we have taken the first oath that so first we will generate data, a more authentic, more tamper-proof data, and then on the top of it, so we want to build this AI model, like so like how you search in your chat GPT, so tomorrow if you search for so what is the groundwater status in Odisha, if you search in chat GPT, it will come up with the real metrics on so where to actually add the so take the steps. That is where we wish to evolve in the future by incorporating advanced technologies like AI/ML into the water management.
Am I audible, Sahu sir? Dharmendra Sahu ji, आप हमें सुन पा रहे हैं? Can you unmute yourself, sir? I request again, Sahu sir, can you hear me, sir? Can you unmute yourself? So, sir, we are getting another query also. So let's discuss another query. This is like related to the what is the Mr. Vinay here talk about the budgeting, which is already being mandated and appropriate regulations are already taken up by the many industry. Implementation has been also they are doing from themselves, and but strict vigilance, these vigilance are not allowing them to take NOC. So is there from the technology side you want to say something, or might be we'll take this question to the regional director, sir, Groundwater Board?
Neha, can you please repeat the question for sir? I guess I missed.
That you talked about the budgeting and also the technology and solutions right now available in context to the groundwater, right? So there are a lot of mandates which is like implemented by the Groundwater Board, like regulations and policies framework. So, in such a strict vigilance, what is what is an absolute necessity? Means in context of technology, what is the absolute and what is the original requirement? Is want to know for the particular whatever technology you are suggesting.
Yeah, so two things here we should try to address, Neha. Okay, so one is on the of course, I understand the policymakers come up with the framework for the reporting, so but at the end of the day, whose skin is at risk? So if it all a specific geography, if a specific block when there is no groundwater, so of course, the government is taking steps, so but for example, for whatever the reason there is the measures fail, who is at risk? The people at risk are the users. So the any measures taken by the policymakers, as per what I understand, is only for the welfare of these people, and like how people have been rightly saying about the cooperative participation from all the stakeholders. So as per my proposition, how we should do is, since the risk is more on the users, so the users have to come together in a community wise and then start managing their respective region, respective groundwater regions effectively. So this is usually done very beautifully in agricultural. There are something called water user associations. So wherever we have the canal water distributions at one outlet, so there is a water level water user associations formed locally to discuss among them and say that who is going to get how much water from each canal outlet. Similarly, the policy can also suggest about forming the water user associations block wise and more industrial user wise to self regulate their own usage, because at the end of the day it's a common pool, and the policymakers can guide them with the necessary technical inputs on how to start monitoring the data, how to start using the data, how to start reporting the data for themselves. So if we can be a more of an enablers, so it will be easy and decentralized approach. So rather than trying to take a more power concentration at a Delhi or even at a state headquarters also, it becomes very difficult. We need to disseminate the information to the ground level and just have some few checks and balances to see how this is being happening. So that is one recommendation. So with a combination of data and the process is where we will be able to have a better control on the last mile.
Next question to Mr. P.K. Mohapatra, sir, because we have a lot of participants from the side of industry. So, sir, what is the total expected NOCs and exemptions in Odisha right now, and what percentage achieved so far? If you can share some details and any kind of
Yes,
information
sir.
on this, sir.
We have about 2,200 industries or applicants have taken NOCs, about 900 exemptions so far. Still, there are many because we Indians we have the very bad habit of bypassing the law or cheating the law till it gets hold of you, till it comes to you directly. So we have been advertising in the newspaper regularly, and I have been sending so-called notices almost on daily basis. I have already sent so-called notices to more than 6,000 industries in Odisha to take NOC. We are doing our best till the State Groundwater Authority is formed. But as I said, it is we are manpower constraint organization or department here. So we are doing our best. We will our joint secretary sir Subodh Jadhav IS sir, you must be knowing him. He is very strict against this. He said you just catch hold of a industry, a big industry which is not taking NOC and seal their borewells. It will have a ripple effect. We are trying to obtain we're trying to get to that, but before since water is a very sensitive subject, politicians are not willing to help us. Rather their state groundwater authority in other state, I know they have diluted the guidelines of CGWA, which NGT is very they going after these states who have diluted their guidelines. They do not require any, say for example, report, impact assessment report or modeling report, like these things, because they think they will lose politically. So state governments are not yet ready to accept fully the importance of groundwater, the special resources, and our generation, which will blame us ultimately, because we'll run out if we continue like this. We'll run out of water by 2050. Yes, we'll run out of this precious resource. Then desalinization, we have to resort to desalinization. We are doing our best, Neha. That can be done.
Okay, sir, and for any project and any kind of implementation of the like rules, regulation and policy for the like for any sector, sir, the involvement and the participation of the community and the information and awareness should be spread everywhere. So, sir, just another query: what steps CGWB is doing to educate users to take NOCs, sir?
Yes. Uh, I used to hold these online meetings at least for Google. We purchased for this. We purchased actually Google workspace. Then it can for 250 person it can allow it at a time. I hold this video conferencing and ask them to come. But we rarely change. As Indians, we rarely change unless the water comes to our neck. We do not change. It is very difficult. But we have to. What can we do? We have to. You know the guidelines has made collectors as the authorized representative on behalf of Central Groundwater Authority to seize the borewells or for other take other enforcement measures, including legal measures. We have been writing to them continuously. The show cause notice, a copy of show cause notice is being forwarded to DM sir every and to take action. But yet it is not yet borne fruit. Uh, Puri particularly, Mr. Mahapat was telling they have completely switched over to surface water, which is not true. They have switched over almost 60%. They have switched over to surface water, 40% is groundwater. But Puri only 8 big hotels have taken no objection certificates, where there are plenty, and many have taken just exemption less than 10 dikha ke, they have taken exemption, which may not be true actually. We are not able to verify also because of, as I said, the constraints we have many.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving answer for such questions, which is from the side of industries participant. And now move forward. I hope, am I audible, Dharmendra Sahu, sir? Am I audible to you, sir?
Is he
We are
there?
just trying to take the inputs from the side of, because he's a consultant, he is doing a lot of work at the ground level. Can you unmute yourself, Sahu, sir?
Is he there or not there? I don't know.
He is there. I guess some technical glitches are there. So, sir, Mr. Mohanty, are you there?
video.
KC Mohanty, sir, are you there?
हाँ जी बोलिए बोलिए
हाँ जी sir, we have a query because you have talked about a lot of the initiative by the like groundwater WRT department, sir. So you said that there is no restriction on use of water for domestic and agricultural use in Odisha. So in someone's towns, the local NSC has dug a borewell adjacent to a pond which gets dried in summer. The problem is this borewell runs continuously. And to fill the pond, how logical do you think it is fill the pond with fresh groundwater? What can be done to check such measures, misuse of groundwater?
You see, regarding that restriction use of water for domestic and agriculture use, that domestic means that is individual domestic household. Okay, but so far as this urban bulk water supply schemes, they need to take permission from the central groundwater authority. But in rural water supply scheme, there is no restrictions as on date. But for it is mandatory to take permission from CGWA for this NSC related what he is telling. He is perhaps telling about this NSC water supply scheme in urban area. It is NSC means it's the urban area. Okay, so he should mention the name of that NSC. So I will impress Dr. Mahapatra that they should take action if he has not taken any permission from the CGWA, then they can be imposed with penalty. That is the provision. Okay, so in agriculture sector, in rural area and water supply scheme in the rural areas, that is exempted. But urban water supply, they need to take permission from the CGWA. Dr. Mahapatra can highlight.
Agriculture, water use for agriculture is exempted everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes. The CGW guidelines is exempted Five category of people are exempted. This agriculture, irrigation sector is exempted. MSME is exempted. Defense establishment are exempted. Then rural area water supply scheme in the rural area, they are exempted. Or someone this are exempted. But individual houses are exempted. But say a flat or apartment, they need to take NOC, and they have been taking NOC in particularly in Odisha. Other state, I do not know. Other state, particularly Chhattisgarh, they are not taking NOC even for these apartments, because they have no. We have been, this came about because we wrote continuously to this project sanctioning authority, infrastructure project sanctioning authority, like Bhubaneswar Development Authority or Bhubaneswar Municipal Corporation, Cuttack Development Authority, Cuttack Municipal Corporation, Berhampur Development Authority. After writing a lot of letters and a lot of persuasion, these things came about ultimately, because they put a condition now. NOC from CGWA is required if you are using groundwater. That's why people are coming these days. Otherwise, it was very difficult to, even if nobody ask them to take, even now the state pollution control board has put a condition, if you are using groundwater, you need to renew your NOC or take NOC from CGWA if your consent to operate is to be renewed.
Okay, Neha.
Yes, sir.
Our joint director, Dr. Deepak, he will talk just a few words on this agriculture issues, because he is expert in that field. So he can explain also. He will supplement.
Good morning. I am Dr. Deepak, Joint Director of Geology from Groundwater. So I have a question to Regional Director Mr. Mahapatra. So as per the notification of CGWA 24th September 2020, agriculture sector are exempted from NOC, extraction of groundwater. So yesterday I had a meeting with the World Bank people for our OPICRA project, and they were insisting that in command area they are planning for execution of more number of irrigation wells for irrigation. So as you see in the groundwater assessment 2026 blocks have been gone semi-critical and two more added, and the region of which may be attributed for this agriculture, higher dependency on groundwater. So if anything can be done for regulation of agricultural use, I don't know, it is already exempted. If anything can be done, so this is a platform to discuss your views, please.
Dr. Mahapatra.
Mohapatra, sir, would you like to say something on this, sir?
Left.
Is it there?
I guess he's busy somewhere. And sir, we have also a lot of participant who is right now with us. So we are also officially opening like for Q&A session also. So if you have any query, I just say just kindly click on the like raise your hand icon. And if you want to ask any query directly, so kindly click on the raise your hand icon so that we can take your query forward. I request Mr. Prakash C. Das, you may please ask your query. Am I audible, Mr. Prakash C. Das? You may please ask your query, sir. Mr. Das, I request kindly unmute yourself. I request Mr. Suman Kumar, you may please ask your query. Mr. Suman Kumar, you may please ask your query, sir. Mr. Kumar. Request Mr. Suresh Kulkarni, you may please ask your query.
I am Dr. Prakash speaking. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Please, sir.
Yeah, it is related to the question that I already put in the chat box. It is for PK Mohanty, sir. The town concerned is Padampur in Bargarh district, where this crazy thing is happening, where there is a borewell that is constructed nearby the pond, and the fresh groundwater is being filled. Is used to fill the pond, and this pond water is not used for urban water supply. It is just used for domestic water, for bathing purpose by the local people. And as a result of this 24/7, almost 24/7 running of this borewell, the nearby area, the groundwater level has subsided, and the people are not getting enough water. Now, what is to be done? Whom to write to? The local NSC is not listening.
I think you are not present when this was clarified by our director, Chief Engineer Director, Groundwater. So it comes under NSC area, urban area. So any urban area, you said it is Padampur, Bargarh.
Yes.
Yes. So, as per Central Groundwater Authority notification, any urban water supply scheme, they have to take mandatorily NOC, no objection certificate from Central Groundwater Authority. So, if instead of getting the NOC, no objection certificate, they are going for the borewell and the pond is dried up, they may be penalized. If by bringing into notice of Central Groundwater Authority, they may take action. So just now, Regional Director Dr. Mahapatra has come. He will clarify.
What was the question actually? I was not here actually briefly for 5 minutes.
He is saying that in Bargarh NSC, there has a public water supply scheme which is
No, sir,
located
this is
adjacent
not.
to a pond which gets dried in summer.
Sir, just to clarify, this is
So
not
whether
for.
they have taken permission, because that is a urban water supply scheme.
No, sir, no. I must clarify this. This is not for urban drinking water supply scheme. This is a local pond which used to have good water earlier. Now it gets dried up. Now, some of the people take bath in this pond. To fulfill these needs, people take bath in the pond. Since the pond gets dried up, a borewell has been there, which has been done, and this borewell runs continuously 24/7. And the water that is extracted from this borewell is used to fill the pond, which is quite crazy. Never ever in India, I think this kind of a thing, would have been happening. So this phrase, good quality water is used to fill the pond, surface water, so that people can take bath. Obviously, you can't fill a pond by extracting groundwater. So
we have also received a complaint from local people in Bargarh. This will next month we will come and investigate and conduct an inquiry what is happening. They're saying the industries are using and water supply in the villages are going dry. The borewells are going dry, so water supply is being affected. Intermediate water supply. So it actually do not know the field situation. After we can come and we go there and investigate, we can be sure what is happening. Then we can suggest what is to be done.
This is not in Bargarh district. This is in Padampur NSC. This is happening.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. If you can just tell us about the local authority, we can also lodge a complaint before that, because the local NSC is not listening.
Please write a letter to CGWA. Have you got a mail ID of us?
Not yet, but I think from the website I can get that, or if you can just say it, then I would be grateful.
RDSCR?
RDSCR, yes, sir.
Sir, I request kindly share in chat box so that he will get the.
CGWB@NIC.in.
So before, sir, we'll take our last query. I just want to check once again. Mr. Sahu, are you there? Are you listening to me, sir? Are you there, Mr. Sahu?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Sahu sir, just quick take your views and opinions because you are doing a lot of work at the ground level. So you have been many projects proponents on how to manage groundwater, and also you meeting in the compliance requirement for from CGWA. What are the real
Right.
challenges you observed in implementing these guidelines on the field? What is your recommendation for both project proponents and policymakers to accelerate to 100% compliance of the guidelines? Over to you, Sahu sir.
First of all, I thank you, all of you. I'd like to share some key points of industries that generally facing right now. First of all, I like would like to ask some questions of RDSCR, Southeastern Region Central Contractor Board Regional Directors, PK Mafkar sir. That there are right now there are six regions of saline water zone and six semi-critical zones. That is in Baleshwar, Bhadrak, Jagatsinghpur, Jajpur, Kendrapara, Khordha, and Noapada district. Okay, so how many applications are right now getting from there? Okay,
Many,
Mahapadar sir.
how many
How many
applications?
Yes,
No, only in Purai block we have some applications. Otherwise, no other block. Rest 5 blocks, we hardly 1 or 2 applications we are getting from these blocks.
right, sir. Actually, sir, the problem is that the industries are the industries do not know about the agents. Okay, they do not know about the NOCs. Okay, and some of the industries they are not getting any letters from CGW. Then why they will take NOC from the groundwater board, etc. And we are
You send us list of industries. We have taken a list of industry from State Pollution Control Board, and I have sent letters to 4,000 of them. Okay.
okay.
Even after that, if they do not take, we only informing collectors are that these are the ground situation. You please initiate action, but no action from their end. It is a state. It is water is a state subject. We are only there till state groundwater authority is formed. So we can only write to them because collector is the designated officer for implementation of NOC conditions. A condition laid down in the NOC. Okay. We have been continuously writing to them. We send a show cause notice and give a copy to the concerned district magistrate.
Okay.
Because we cannot
One
move
more question, sir.
and go on implementing each and every industry. We do not have the manpower nor have other resources with us to do this.
Right, sir. Right. Hello.
Yes, please, Dharmendra, go on.
Sir, I also
What is
say
your
that
contribution? What is your contribution? Your global solution? What GIS solution? What type of service you provide?
sir, we are the consulting hydrogeologist for groundwater related concerns, and also we are service provider for GIS related works. Generally, we have already filed more than 200 300 applications NOCs for the industries, MSMs, etc. And right now
You
we
are
are working on.
accredited consultant or what?
No, sir. We are going to apply for the next year.
Okay.
We are currently working 6 years. So we have already worked in this field. Next
If
year we are going.
any grievances, and put it in writing and mail to us. Okay?
Thank
Whatever
you.
we can do, we'll take it up. Neha ji,
Yes, thank you so much, Sahu sir. You have shared the details about your company. And Mawata sir, we are getting a lot of questions, but because of time frame, I'll just take quickly one last query. which is like we have from the side of Priyadarshini ji. She wants to know that she observed in her work that even the saline groundwater category get used for daily water needs. However, the CGWB consider it as unfit for use. So do we also need to look at saline water's depletion or the quality aspects?
For drinking and domestic, how can saline water be used? Saline water, there is a provision to take saline water for industries and it is not charged. It is not like fresh water, which is monetized nowadays. Say for 1 KLD, 2 rupees, 2 rupees in safe areas and 6 rupees or 8 rupees in overexploited areas. For saline water, there is no charge. It is free of charge. Like say, for example, in Gopalpur, Tata is drawing saline water. So they are not paying anything, but they have to take NOC from CGWS. And such is the case also in Paradip, because the saline water zone is saline aquiferic saline from say 20 meter to 220-meter aquiferic saline or brackish. Then 225 to 250 there is a freshwater zone. Some industries are tapping that zone also.
So thank you, Mahapatra sir. We are getting a lot of queries, but definitely, if you have any other kind of concern, you may just write to us. And for the NOC, as Mahapatra sir mentioned, is everything, every detail is available on the side of Central Groundwater Board. Still, from the perspective from the related state, if you are facing any problem, you may contact to the regional offices. There are and they will help you out for for any kind of details you require from our side. So Mohapatra sir, with your permission, kind permission, can we end this session today? And thank you so much, sir. You took out some time from your busy schedule and to be a part of this program. Thank you, Vinayji. Thank you, Mohanty sir. Thank you, Sau sir, to be a part of this wonderful dialogue for the Odisha state. And after this, we have another event lined up, which is for the Uttarakhand state. In couple of week, we are going to organize for Odisha too. So looking forward to your active participation. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
Vinay
Neha.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Binay.
Thank you, sir. I'll see you soon in your at your place.
Yes, sure.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Concord.
Is it?